Java and JavaScript, these two are totally different things. Don't confuse with the word Java in JavaScript. So Java is a programming language, and it needs one specific IDE, which in that IDE must be a compiler there. Okay, so meaning to say Java is compiler-based programming language. Okay, but on the other hand, JavaScript runs is a browser-based programming language, and it works with the most of the latest browsers. Okay, and JavaScript coding you can write in any editor, even in WordPad, Notepad, MS Word, Visual Studio Code, the advanced browsers. Sorry, the advanced editors like Bracket, and the most advanced one is the Visual Studio Code. So you can write in anyone. Yeah. So where JavaScript is used, actually JavaScript can be used in many different platforms, but the most obvious one is the web, and currently is mobile also. Okay, in mobile programming, and there are several platforms that we can do fully web mobile applications using JavaScript. Okay, and it can be used in Acrobat, in Photoshop, and all those stuff. But the most obvious usage of JavaScript is in our web applications. Okay, so the history of JavaScript is like this: that JavaScript was first developed in 1995, and at that time its name was LiveScript. Okay, after that in 1996, Netscape purchased the LiveScript and changed its name from LiveScript to JScript. And then in 1997, its name changed to ECMAScript. Okay, and actually this ECMAScript is until now its name is ECMAScript. But you know the JavaScript is quite famous, and like the name is quite, how to say, become the people became used to with JavaScript. So even though its name is ECMAScript, but still people are saying JavaScript. So from 1997 its name is ECMAScript. Then in 1999 it became ECMAScript 3. In 2009 it became ECMAScript 5, and after that ECMAScript 6 and 7. Until now the current version is ECMAScript until 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. So all these are what? Actually, these are the different versions of ECMAScript. Okay, and every version brings some new things, some new facilities, and some new like way of writing the programming. Okay, so I will show you later on at the end that what's the difference between the normal JavaScript and ES6. So most people are now calling this ES5, ES6, ES7, ES10. So ES stands for the ECMAScript. Okay, so I will show you some of the differences. Actually, it's a complete programming language. It has many different aspects. Like for example, it is a fully object-oriented language. Okay, it can cover many different perspectives. So maybe we cannot go in that much detail, but I will show you a bit some of the differences between normal JavaScript and ES6. Okay, so what is the main role of JavaScript in web development? I hope you still remember that in a website, in a web page, the content comes from HTML. So meaning to say, if we say what to display, okay, what to display, the what comes from HTML. Okay, so HTML show the contents. For example, what should be the text, if there should be any form, table, picture, images, videos. So the content comes from HTML. CSS changes its style, its presentation. How? For example, if here is a table, okay, so the table should be how the table layout should be. Okay, today at the end of today's class I will show you the responsive CSS with Bootstrap. So in that case you will feel that you will see the different styling of forms and tables. Okay, so CSS show how to present the content. You see, JavaScript on the other hand determines the behavior. Behavior is something like mostly related with the interactivity. Okay, that when a user interact with some contents of the HTML, and on the basis of that interactivity something happen. Okay, so it's like a behavior. So these three components work together to design the modern advanced websites. So you cannot find any website today which doesn't use JavaScript. You cannot find any website which doesn't use any CSS. So now currently there are many different frameworks for JavaScript. Maybe you have listened many words like jQuery, Node.js, Next.js. So there are many JavaScript frameworks. So people are using those JavaScript frameworks also. So but the fundamental the basic concept behind each framework is the concept of JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, if you know ES6, okay, and the latest ECMAScripts, then you can understand every framework. Okay, and for CSS also there are several compiled predefined CSSs. Okay, and we can use existing CSSs, existing JavaScripts, but the basic thing is that at least you should know the fundamentals of every aspect, like fundamentals of CSS, fundamentals of JavaScript. Then you can understand and you can modify the pages according to your own needs. Okay, the current latest framework about JavaScript is Facebook one. Facebook release React. Okay, React is a JavaScript based framework, and it is a very powerful framework. Actually, it can design web pages. Okay, and it can even design. It has a version for mobile applications also. So like the Messenger and Instagram, all these apps are written and programmed in React. So you can see that you see the Messenger app, the fully Messenger app has been written in React, and React is totally 100% based on JavaScript, ECMAScript. Okay, the ES6, ES7, ES10. So my point is that these are the three basic components which brings the functionality to the advanced websites. Okay, so next one. So okay, in JavaScript, what we should do, what we should not do. JavaScript is actually a case-sensitive language. It differentiates uppercase and lowercase from each other. So if you write like this, the alert, okay, alert is a function. Okay, it's like a warning type and alert type function. I will show you in a practical examples also. So if you see, if the A is small, so if all are small, so okay, if you capitalize the A, then it is not allowed. Okay, so meaning to say, JavaScript is a case sensitive language, and you should try to type all in lowercase. Okay, if you capitalize, then it will not work. Okay, so what are the common places and common points where we are using JavaScript in our pages? Actually, there are many different cases that we are using JavaScript. For example, in a runtime, in a dynamic website, if you want to change the color of a heading, if you want to calculate age, or if you want to move or animate images or hide the menus, okay, some important messages, okay, there are many different possibilities of JavaScript. Today I will show you one practical example also that JavaScript can play a very important role in a dynamic way. Okay. Okay, so another important point that you try whenever you are writing JavaScript, then try to write JavaScript in one sentence. Okay. For example, one line of JavaScript. If you are writing different code of JavaScript, so one line at one command or one full sentence at one line, another full sentence, another line, another full sentence, and another line. So why? Because it is the readability issue. It is easy to read. It is easy to understand, and sometimes it creates a problem also. And it's like affect the loading of the page. When the page is loading, and if the JavaScript coding is not optimized and not well written, then it affects the loading of a page. And you should know that the JavaScript has higher priority than HTML. So if our page has HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, first of all, JavaScript will be loaded. So if there is any problem in JavaScript coding, then it affects the loading and the performance of the website. And nowadays people are looking and they are analyzing websites from all these perspectives, that if the loading time or if the response time is not quick, then they don't like such website. So in such a case, so you see, if you look at the last example, so there should not be too much unnecessary spaces if you are creating this type of JavaScript coding. Okay, now second point is, I think before that, let me show you how to add JavaScript. Let me see. Yeah, how to add JavaScript to HTML page. Okay, so there are two ways to add HTML page. There are two ways to add HTML to add JavaScript to HTML5. Okay, so one way you can write anywhere, anytime JavaScript in a HTML page. For example, here you see here I have written at the end. Okay. You can write. Let me show you this one. I have link with one of my custom JavaScript file. So one way is this one, to directly to type here. So whenever you are typing JavaScript, you will have to write script. Okay, script. Okay, and after that you can type whatever you want to type. For example, if I want to type here alert. Okay, alert, and this alert is a function, and this alert display some message. So in JavaScript you can include the message in double quotation or in single quotes. For example, if you type hello world. Oh, sorry. Hello world. Okay, and note the point, every statement of JavaScript. Why? Word. Every statement of JavaScript must be terminated by semicolon, otherwise it has an issue. Okay, so you see one way that you can write JavaScript coding directly inside the HTML document. And again, note the point, there are again one very important issue, that you can put JavaScript coding anywhere in your HTML page. Okay, for example, mostly people are putting in head. Okay, I can type here also. Okay, JavaScript. I can type inside the body anywhere I can type. For example, here also I can put JavaScript. So you can put JavaScript anywhere in your HTML document, but the professional way to put your JavaScript at the bottom of your page. Why? Because as I told you, the JavaScript has higher priority than HTML. So when the page is loading, first of all, JavaScript will load. So if JavaScript is at the top, okay, then you cannot see anything of the HTML page until the JavaScript is run completely. Okay, so the best way that you should put JavaScript at the end of the page. Let me show you. Okay, I already have one script here at the heading tag. So let's see what's the difference when we put at the heading tag, and what's the difference if we put the same thing in our footer. So let me comment this one. Okay, so I will comment the last section first. Okay, so save this one. Okay, now let's see this one in a browser. So you see, this is the alert message, the hello world generated by JavaScript. But if you look at the background, there is no content. It means the JavaScript will run fast, it will complete fast. You cannot see anything in the web page until the JavaScript execution is completed. So if I click OK, then you see that the HTML content will come in. So this is why if it is not too much necessary at the beginning, don't put JavaScript at the top of the page like here. So I was trying to explain to you that there are two ways to include JavaScript to your HTML code. Okay, so one way to write directly as a script. Okay, as when the browser is processing the coding, and when the word script, okay, opening and coding script comes in, then the browser understands that now these are JavaScript coding, and it will be handled as a JavaScript coding. So one way to directly write here. Okay, another way to don't write here. Okay, this one. Okay, this one should be don't write here, but create a separate file and save that file with the name of any name that you can give, but extension will be JS JavaScript. Okay, and then link that file with your with your HTML file. Like external CSS, in the same way will be external JavaScript. This is the best way to link the JavaScript file with your HTML file. So you see, second way, if I comment this one, okay, if I comment this and remove this one, okay, then you see script source. So if it is external file, then you will must specify source. Okay, I hope you know this is a quite common attribute, like for image, for anything. So for links we are using src source. It is where it is in the JS folder. If there is a folder, okay, then you folder, then slash, and then the name of the file. So if you see here, this is the JavaScript folder that I have created in my workspace. Inside this JS folder, I have the custom JavaScript coding. So I have written here many things. So you see, here I have written this alert, okay, alert hello world. So you see, no need of the script, anything, just the file save with any name .js, and then directly write the JavaScript coding. So you see, now if I save this one, and if I save the HTML file also, and open in the file browser. So now you see, now when there is external file, look the difference. Now when there is external file, we can see the HTML coding first, and then at the end is the JavaScript runs. Okay, so this is the difference. When the JavaScript is directly, when you write in HTML, okay, directly anywhere, maybe at the footer or at the header, but if the coding is inside HTML, then the priority goes to JavaScript. But if it is external file, like here you see this one external file, then we can see the output first, HTML will display, and then the JavaScript. Hello guys, until now any confusion, anything? So JavaScript support, and JavaScript is a fully programming language. It can support all the variables that any other programming languages have. The only difference between JavaScript and some other programming languages, that you see that the data type of the variable will be automatically determined by the browser, by the JavaScript engine. For example, if I change this one num1 equal to 10, and the num2 if I put in a single quotes or double quotes, so now it become text. So no need to specify here int, string, or whatever. No, JavaScript engine automatically determine it. Now if I write sum equal to num1 plus num2, so what will happen? Any idea? Any idea? Hello guys? No, there will be no error. There will be concatenation now. Okay, concatenation. You know concatenation. Concatenation means to join two strings, a number and a string. To join, for example, two things. Let me write like this generally. To join two things. So num1 is a number and num2 is a string. So the plus operator will handle them as a concatenation, as a join. Let's try save it and refresh the page. Okay, refresh this page. Okay, so you see the 10 and the 10, 20, they are joined together. Like concatenated together. Previously was 10 plus 20, 30. Now is 10 and 20, like that. Hello, should be okay? Should be okay, huh? You don't get it? Okay. Let me, very good question, no problem. The point is that you see, this variable num1, okay, the num1 is a number, okay? This num1 is a number, okay? And we can apply mathematical operations on numbers. It may be plus, it may be minus, multiplication, division, anything. So if both are numbers, then plus means, okay, for example, if 2 plus 2, then here the plus means addition, right? The plus means addition, and it will become 4. But if it is like this, okay, if it is like this, hello, okay, this one plus another one, so what will happen now? What will be the result of this now? So here, yeah, hello world, good. So here the same plus joining these two words, but here the same plus is applying summation, addition operator. So actually the JavaScript engine is quite smart. It can understand what is on the left of the plus operator and what is on the right of the plus operator. So if both are numbers, then it will apply mathematical operation. And if any one of these is text, okay, and one is number, then if text comes in, then it will start joining. For example, if it is like this, 2 plus like this, 2 and another 2 is like this. Okay, so again you see this one is a string, this one is a number. So this plus will do what? The result will be just 2 and like this. So it will join, concatenate the two things. Did you get now? Hello? Is it okay? Okay, good. So this is, so you see, in this way, if you ask a question, I will explain further like this. If you don't ask question, maybe I will skip. Okay, so this is the way that JavaScript can support as many variables, all the variables, and you see you can provide any type of value. Compiler JavaScript will automatically change its type, no issue. So you see, I consider this the advancement of JavaScript. In C++, you will have to type float, double, character, all this stuff. Now here just var and the variable and its value. Okay, no issue. Okay, come on to our slides. So you see, all these variables are correct variables. You can type like this, var, name, email, all those stuff. But you see, you cannot do like this because the variable in JavaScript must be combination of numbers, letters, numbers, underscore, and $sign. Other than this, cannot. And another point, the starting point, the variable must start from underscore or $sign, or I think underscore and letter, not a number like this. So if start from a number, it is incorrect. Okay, so this is the way how to write variable names. Okay, next one. It supports integer, floating point, string, boolean, array, object, all those things, all like any other programming language. It is a full-fledged programming language. So to setting a variable names, you see like variable bugs 99, you can. The same variable bugs, you see hello world. So we no need to specify. I'm repeating again. We no need to specify data type. The JavaScript engine from the value understand what type of variable it should be. Okay, so you can use double quotation also, you can use single quotation also. Okay, boolean, you see, like true and false, so you can use any, but note the point, when there is a boolean true and false, it will never include enclose in double quotation. Okay, in double quotation or in single quotation, it will be as it is, true and false. Okay, next one. Okay, in condition is like other programming languages, JavaScript also support if condition, if any condition and then coding, if any condition and then coding. Let me quickly show you. Otherwise, you see, like here, if, so you see, if num1 equal to, let me change this to 20. So like 20 as a number and 20 as a string. Okay, if num1 equal to num2, okay, then console.log, okay, console.log. I think I should copy this one because this console.log is now useless. Okay, console.log. So I think I should just simply type true. Okay. And here the word true I am typing as a string. You can type as a boolean possible. I never tried. Let's try. Okay. I think can. Let's try save. So I'm repeating again. Variable 1, variable 2. I'm comparing here is a condition. If they are same, then display this, else. Okay. Else display false. Console.log false. Okay, so let's save this coding and refresh the page. When we refresh the HTML page, the JavaScript code will run and we can see the result. Okay, reload this page. So you see, it is true. It's a bit looks crazy, right? Why? Because you see, it is 20 as a number, it is 20 as a string, but still it says it is true. Why? Because actually, when it comes like this in a quote and a number, then JavaScript extract and JavaScript consider its value like the 20. Okay, in a comparison. And JavaScript has two type of comparison. One is this value-based comparison, one is strict comparison. That is three time equal. So when you use this strict comparison, then it actually check exactly. So this time it will display false because the one is we are telling that no, don't consider its value. Consider this one as a string and consider this one as a number, and after they compare. Okay, so strict comparison. Not the point 2 time equal and 3 time equal. So save it and now page refresh the page again. So if you see, this time it display false. So JavaScript support two type of comparison. Okay, equal. Sorry, like this. You see, one is this one. Okay, this one comparing the values. Okay, the other one is called strict comparison. Okay, and the strict comparison exactly consider whatever is it. Okay, so it is a string, it is a number, both are cannot be same, so it will be false. Okay, let's go ahead. The same thing, you see, if a equal to b, blah blah blah. So here is I already explained, not equal to, greater than, less than, equal to. I think no need to explain, you already know. Okay, so arithmetic operators, plus minus, all these you can apply. Okay, operator precedence, you know that first multiplication will happen, then addition will happen, and if there is a parenthesis, then first of all parenthesis will be evaluated, then multiplication, then addition, multiplication and division have same value, addition and subtraction has same value, okay, all these. So the increment operator, decrement operator, all these operators work exactly like other programming languages. I think I don't have time to go through, you see. Okay, let me show you the ternary operator, that how it works. I hope you already know otherwise. Okay, so actually the ternary operator is exactly like if else. Okay, so if I say like this, num1, okay, num1 equal, okay, let's use first 2 equal num2, okay, num2. So this is the condition. After that, the question mark, the ternary operator. So if the condition is true, then what should do? Then console.log, okay, console.log true, okay, semicolon, colon. If the condition is false, okay, if you see, then colon. After that, another stuff. So what you want to do? So if the condition is false, then console.log false. Is it working? Sorry. Save it. I think there is some problem. Okay, the semicolon, maybe, yeah, the semicolon should be one semicolon. The whole sentence, because the whole line is one sentence now. Let me command this all and save this one. Refresh the page. Okay. I refresh the page. Let's see, and you see it is true. And if I use strict comparison again, one time again, and save it, then it will display. Refresh, it will display false. So meaning to say the ternary operator and the if else, it's exactly working like this. So it will check the condition. If the condition is true, then the left hand side of the colon will work, and if the condition is false, then the right hand side of the colon will work. So it has two actions, 1 and 2. So if the condition is true, then action 1, and if the condition is false, then action 2. I hope it is clear. Okay, go next. Okay, these are the loops. All loops are available exactly like in other programming languages: while loop, do while loop, for loop. Okay, so and the break statement and continue statement. If you already know, because you have already studied other programming languages, then it is exactly the same, 100% same, no differences. Then I will have to skip. Okay, if you have some confusion, then I will go through. Hello guys, please let me know. Sorry.
But for the for loop, right? We have to write the var, because for C++ we need to write like an int I equals 1.
I think in JavaScript both ways are correct. You will have to type var I equal to some value, and var I just one time var I equal to 1. Okay, let me quickly try. Okay, let's write in the console. Okay, and first I'm trying without var. I equal to 1 semicolon, I less than 10 semicolon, I plus. Okay, after this is this, and let's console.log Okay, what should be? It should be like uh, just let's suppose I plus the I value, okay, and then semicolon, and then you see after that if you enter, okay, I didn't give a space, so I 1 2 3 until 9, so I have used the condition less than 10, so it's work, so no need to use the even the var. Did you get? Hello, did you get?
Yes, okay.
So it works. Let me try again. Quickly copy, okay, quickly copy and paste, and here I will add the space also, and let's use var, I think, sorry, and then press enter. You see again works, in both cases it works. So if you any one of you are confused in the bracket and the continuous statement, I will quickly do it, like console.clear, sorry, console.clear. Okay, now oh, I have already copied, right? Yeah, so break statement, oh my gosh, I should not enter. Okay, here, if you want to enter inside the code like this, then don't enter. If you enter, it will run. Then press shift and then enter. Then you can go in, okay, in the console. Okay, shift enter, then you can modify the coding. So here we can check if, okay, if let's suppose I is equal to 5, okay, if I equal to 5, then, oh my god, you see I did again mistake. I enter, I should press shift enter. Sorry, okay, so curly bracket, another curly bracket. Okay, so if I equal to 5, then break, okay, break statement. What will happen, okay, what will happen that when the I become equal to 5, then the loop will be terminated. Break statement terminate the loop, okay. So you see if I run it, so I 1 2 3 4, so when I became 5, so break the loop terminated. Okay, let me copy the same coding, and if quickly refresh the page, then it will again also clear the console for you. Okay, here I will say that what's the difference between break and continuous statement? Break statement totally terminates the for loop. A continuous statement just skips one iteration, not the point. If I equal to 1, I equal to 5, then break means, continue means that continue. Yeah, so only this iteration, the fifth iteration will be skipped. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth will be skipped, and then 6, 7, 8 until 9. Let's try. Yeah, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one is skipped, and then 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is the role of break and continue statement. I think you have studied this too much in every programming language, and you will keep repeating, no need to do again and again. Okay, functions. Functions is the most important part of JavaScript, and functions work in HTML at many different levels. For example, when the window changes its height and width, for example, when the window height is this much, run some code or show some behavior, and the behavior will be actually based on the function. And the width, maybe calculate area or store area, okay, and do some calculation. I check some value. Later on I will show you. In real time, you can checking value if someone is typing. Okay, get image position, many things. Change text color, change position. Okay, so in JavaScript functions, you can do a lot of things. So how to define JavaScript functions? The syntax is like this. You will write the word function. Okay, in other programming languages we are not writing, we are writing the returning point, the return type and arguments and blah blah blah, like void int. No, here you will just type function and the function name, whatever you want to give. If the function don't have any arguments, then empty parentheses, and then the body of the function, and inside the body of the function whatever you want to do that. So this is the definition of the function, and later on you can call the function. So this is the calling of the function. In this way you can call. Okay, so you can try in many different ways. Let me show you in several ways. Okay, first of all let me show you directly in our here. Okay, I will delete this. Let's delete all this. Okay, so function. Okay, so function, let's suppose sum. Okay, so this function sums two value. Okay, let me, if this function has argument, let me give arguments also. Okay, and after that this, and now console.log, you can define, you can return, it's up to you. Okay, different console.log sum equal to and this plus, and then x plus y. You see, here there are two different type of plus I use. Okay, one is this plus, one is this plus. Actually, the JavaScript engine can understand what role this plus will play, and what role this plus will. The first plus will do concatenation, meaning to say this message plus the result of the sum, and this one will do the summation only. Okay, so this is the definition of the function. After that, we will call the function like sum. Okay, sum, and you can pass the values, any values that you want. Let's suppose 20, 30. So the sum should be 50. So save this one. You see, this coding again is inside the test.js, and this test.js is linked with test.html. So if I refresh the test.html, so oh, what is it? Sum equal to 20 plus 30. It's doing okay. Let me remove this one to remove the confusion first. Save, sum, refresh. You see, console is displaying 50. So function, sum, subtraction, anything. Okay, and then you can do it. Even you can do like this. You see, return, okay, return x plus y. Semicolon. So it will return the x plus y. So when it returns, then you can actually print here. So if it is returning, then we will print here. So it is console.log, and here we will print it. Okay, you see here will be two parentheses. Okay, one parenthesis set for the function calling and one parenthesis is the console.log. Save it and refresh the page. It will have, let me change the values, then will be clear to understand. So 10 plus 30 will be 40. Refresh the page, you see 40. So this is the way how function works in JavaScript. Any confusion until now? Hello, please. You see, if a function has three parameters, okay, and then we are using these three parameters in a summation and we are displaying, okay, we are displaying the value here also and we are returning also, both are possible. And when you call the function, so you see the first parameter will, first argument will go to the first one, second will go to the second one, third will go to the third one. Okay, if the function don't have any arguments, then you will call with no arguments here like this. Okay, same like this. But here it shows that the local variable, you see, if you define any variable inside this curly bracket, it become local. If you define outside this curly bracket, it become a global scope variable. Okay, now one important point here, that if the argument needs three parameters and you send two, so you see the first argument go to this, the second one go to this, the third one is missing. Okay, so what you will get an error message, z is undefined, because here we are using the z in calculation and it doesn't have any value. Okay, so try to take care of such type of mistakes. Okay, another scenario, that if we have three arguments in the function. Okay, the function accepts three parameters, but we send four. So the first will go to first, second will go to second, third will go to third. What will happen? The fourth one will be simply ignored, no issue. But it will not create an error message at the program. It will not stopping the JavaScript from running. Like in C++, if you do like this, the whole program will not run. Okay, but in JavaScript, it works like that. Okay, go ahead. Okay, this one like custom loop from a function. So custom loop from a function is something like this, that you see we actually send three values to the function x, y, z, three arguments, and we use these three values inside the loop. So you see the values comes through the function to the for loop. Then it's become like a custom loop. Okay, so you see the same x value, the loop starting from the x and the condition from the y. Okay, and later maybe you can use the x also anywhere. So this is like a conditional or custom type of function. Let me quickly show you how it works. Okay, so this one I will change this value like my loop. Okay, function my loop x y. Okay, just x y, let's suppose. So here I can type for I equal to x comma semicolon I less than equal to y semicolon and I plus plus. After that like this, and here I can display the values. Cut. You can display the value. You can do some checking. You can do anything that you want. So I will just here type like the value of I, okay, plus some iteration let's suppose like this. Okay, so this is a function, and inside the function I define a loop, and actually the loop depends on the function parameter. This is why it's like a custom type of loop. So when I call this function like my loop, okay, and pass the two values, like the first one is 1, let's suppose the x is 1 and the y is, let's suppose, 10. When I call this function like this, okay, save this coding, this page, this is linked with this one. Okay, so you see first my typing on iteration, save it and refresh. Yeah, you see first iteration, second, third. Okay, sorry, don't worry about that. Okay, second iteration, third iteration. So you see the loop run according to the function parameters. This is also possible in JavaScript like that. I think in every programming language is possible. Okay, go ahead. Array is a very powerful tool in JavaScript. So that's the way to define array. I'm assuming that you already know what is array because you are not junior anymore. Okay, so array to define one way is the brackets. Okay, in a bracket, this is the easy way to define array. So variable, okay, you see no need to specify here the brackets. Just when you are giving the values, then the brackets, and put the values inside it. So you see again the JavaScript engine can understand that if it is a string value, then it will become a string array. If there is an integer values, then it will become an integer array. So brackets and then semicolon, one way. Another way, if you use the array object, okay, it's constructor also. Okay, like var some data new array, and then this is a constructor, so it will be a parenthesis, and then the values pass. One way is like this to create array. Another one, you see the same thing, brackets. This one is the easy one, brackets and the values you provided. Okay, and array has different methods. Okay, you know that different like string, we have methods also, we have properties also. So array has a very nice easy method. So if you have this array, okay, and you just type some data with the array name dot reverse, so the data inside the array will be reverse, and you can join. Okay, you can join two different the values inside array will be joined together. You can sort. Okay, like in ascending or descending order, you can easily sort. So you can try all these options in array. Okay. In numbers in a JavaScript, all the numbers, this is why there is no you see data types like int, float. So all numbers in data types are 6-bit floating point numbers. Okay, like 20 and 20.0 are same in JavaScript. Okay, so addition and concatenation, I already explained to you one time that if a is equal to 5 and b equal to 5, so a plus b will be 10. And if a equal to 5 and b equal to string 5, then it will be joining. Okay, it will be joining. And like this string, so it will be concatenation. And if it is like this, you see, note this point, if a equal to 5 and b equal to string 5, and you are not applying plus, you are applying multiplication. So in multiplication is, you see, it will give you an error, and an in HTML and JavaScript is not a number. It's not a number that you are trying to multiply. Okay, so there is a procedure to find out before but applying any mathematical calculation to check. Okay, there is one way that you can change. For example, you can change the string to a number one way, like variable my number. Okay, you this number function converts the argument to a number one way. Okay, and another way, before applying any calculation, you can check there is a function in JavaScript is an an, that if it is not a number, okay, then you can already know that it is not a number, then you can avoid some calculation. So this is another way to check that some value is a number or not. Math objects, you see, like random around, you can round these values. Okay, max value, mean value, okay, pi, random, sort, log. You see, I cannot go in all these details because you see JavaScript is a complete programming language, so therefore I am leaving this stuff for you, and you should at least have some general concept of JavaScript, because later on, actually nowadays in the advanced programming, JavaScript and CSS is very less people are designing from their own, already available. There are a lot of options, many advanced and responsive JavaScript and responsive CSS are already there, so we don't need to recode everything, but at least we should know the syntax, because sometimes we need to modify. Okay, therefore we need to know a bit. Okay, so JavaScript string, you see, just my string and put anything in double quotation and single quotation is a string. Okay, it's quite okay. But one thing, not the point. You see, if you want to include string is in double quotation, but inside the double quotation, if you want to insert another double quotation, then the JavaScript engine cannot differentiate between this double quotation and the nested double quotation. Okay, so in such a case, try to do like this. That you see the opening double quotation, and this double quotation we want to be skipped. So if you want to skip, use a backslash. Okay, this single quotation we want to skip, so use before this. So anything that you want to skip, before slash before that, put slash before that. Sorry. Okay, so you see, like this double quotation we want to skip, put backslash before that. Okay, if you don't put backslash before that, it will give you an error message, because JavaScript engine cannot differentiate like one double quotation inside another and another. So there is a mixing. Let's go ahead. In string also, JavaScript is very much saturated in different properties and methods. Property is a property. Methods are actually functions. For example, if we have a string value with the name of string variable phrase, and this is the value of that. Okay, so you can, this is a property. You see, property is called with dot. Okay, and function or method is called with parentheses. This is the difference between property and function. So like phrase dot length, so you can find out. Okay, and phrase dot to uppercase and not the point. Now you see the parentheses. So it means it is a method. It is a function. Okay, so if this is a variable and string variable, this is its value. So phrase that split, so you can split the whole string into pieces based on what? Based on the parameter that you provide. So here we provide the spaces. Okay, so this will be split, and the split it, you see, this variable will automatically become an array, and it will hold all the values. Okay, starting from 0 index. Like at 0 index will be this. Okay, and index number 1 will be is and a. Sorry, the is and a became capitalized. It will be not capitalized. It will be the same like here. Okay, and then simple and all this. So you see, actually it is a very useful function. Most of the time we are scraping websites. We are copying data from websites, or we are accessing URLs of website. So in the URL is quite long, and so many characters are inside that. Okay, comma, colon, percent, equal to. Okay, so if you want to split the URL on the basis of some characters, then you can easily split using the split function of the string. Okay, so this is quite useful. Next one. Okay, you see the same string function, like a phrase, you can find out index of. So index of this word. In this phrase, you can find index of this word. Okay, and last index of. So you can find the last index of something. So you can these are all different string functions or methods. Like you see substring and substr and uppercase letter are okay. When there is a comparison between string, then uppercase letter are considered less than the lowercase. Because why? Because it is based on ASCII value. And if you remember, uppercase value start from 65. Okay, ASCII value is 65. Sorry, 65. So A is 65, B is 66. So and lowercase a is 97. Okay, so you see, of course, 97 is greater than 65. This is why uppercase value, uppercase string is considered smaller than lowercase because of the ASCII values. Okay, date in JavaScript is also very important, and there is a lot of usage of date. So if you want to create date object, date is an object, is object oriented style. So you see, this is the date constructor. Okay, today a variable new date. So it will give you the current year, month, day, hour, time, second, even millisecond. Okay. And if you want to create only date, not the time, then you can create var variable name new date, and then you will have to provide these three values, like the year 2000. Okay, it is compulsory. You will have to provide this. The month starts from index 0, so you will give this, and the date starts from index 1. Okay, so 2000, 0 and 1. You will have to, it doesn't mean that it will give you this date. No, it will give the current date, but the format will be like that. Okay. You can define like this also: year, month, day. This number only represent year, month, day. It doesn't show that the date will be 2000, 0 and this. Okay, the first one is hour, minutes and seconds. Okay, so these are the dates in JavaScript. These are the date functions. Okay, date functions, like if you have a complete date variable which have year, month, day, hour, time and minute, so it have everything. So then you can extract individual items. For example, today that get month, it will only give you the month. Today that get full year, okay, it will give you this one. You can get today that get year also, but this one is duplicated. Duplicated means that this function will no longer use in the coming versions of JavaScript. So try to use this one. Okay, so get date, it will give you a full date. Get hours, get time, it will give you only time. Another very important thing, JavaScript is a fully object oriented programming language. If you remember classes and objects from Java or from Python or from C++ programming language. Okay, but in JavaScript, the objects and the classes are very easy. Actually, it's much more easy. So this is why JavaScript is very powerful language. In JavaScript, you can directly create object without any class definition. Okay, without any class definition like this. That you see player one. You can give this is the object name, and then curly brackets. You see closing curly brackets and semicolon. Inside this, you can define as many things as you want. Okay, so because it is object, it can be string, it can be float and number and book. So you can define here a complete detail. And later on, you can apply you can define any property of the object or function of the object. I think if it is a bit confusing, let me show you one example. Okay, so var and my object. Can you share with me that you still remember somehow something about the object oriented programming or no? True. If you want to be a boolean, yeah. So save it. Let's go to console. Yeah. So now the name is name. Okay. If I want to type student, okay, student. Yeah, student is active. Is active semicolon. If I enter, yes, so it is true. So student dot metric number semicolon. Yeah, is this one. Yeah, okay. So this is the way how to define an object. Okay, so var equal to the object name and then equal to and then list of properties. Okay, and the properties will be not equality. You see, this is a quite common mistake that I also did in JavaScript and CSS is mostly is colon, and in other programming languages we are mostly using equal to. Okay, and this is another point that the last property will not have any comma. Okay, one property comma another property and the last one will not have anyone, and then you can define like this. Okay, so these are only properties. You can actually assign functions also. Okay, if you want. So you see, for example, here, so you see like this one. No, I think in the other slide. Yeah. You see, this is a player one. All the properties and player two, all the properties like this define like this. So then you define a general function, any function, okay, for any purpose. And later on you say player one dot log detail. So the log detail, okay, or any this is an extra property. So it will become the function of this player. And you see, this is another power of JavaScript, that in JavaScript you assign function to something else. You see, this one is actually a function name. Okay, if you see here, this is a function name, so you can assign function to something. Okay, for example, let me quickly show you. In our example here, if I define here a function, okay, and function should be what, like checking. This is the function name. Okay, sorry, the curly bracket, it doesn't have any argument, and here we are typing, no, it should, let's suppose it should have one argument, name, let's suppose. And here we are simply displaying the name. Okay, so this is a function, its name is checking. Now here you see, this is my object, okay, student. I can add function to it by giving any name. For example, my function, okay, my function equal to, and now I'm assigning this function to this new property. Okay, and once it is done, then I can call the function, okay, like student dot, you see, it give me the option already here, so I can call the function and send a value, let's suppose like this, okay, semicolon, and this value will go to the function, and it works like this, that now this function become part of the object, okay, and you can call as many times as you want. So this object can call its function now and send any this one. So let me delete this one and save this one and refresh the page. Okay, you see my name is there. Okay, so this is the way how to define functions in JavaScript, and this is the most important aspect now, and this is the part that actually we want to apply JavaScript where, and you will see the power of JavaScript here. Everything in the HTML page is actually object. For example, HTML, body, okay, head, all these are represented as an object. So all the objects in the document is represented by this model. This is why it is called document object model. And there are three different type of nodes. One is element node, like all the HTML tags, okay, body, UL, P, image, okay, all these are called element node, and it is represented by one. Okay, and attribute nodes, all the tags has attributes also. For example, ID equal to this one, name equal to this one, okay, style equal to, so any attribute of a node is represented by node attribute. Okay, and there are some objects and some tags which have text, meaning to say it has some value. So the last value that is represented by text node, and it is represented by 3, like UL, let's suppose. So the UL by itself is an element node, okay, and its property is property node, okay, attribute node, and then these three, the text, this is text node. So you see, if you want to access this, let's suppose this one, okay, this one, so you can go through like this, the document, okay, then document, then dot, then UL, then li1, but the li1 should have some ID, then we can get it. Okay, so I will show you how to do it. So we can access individual object in this way. So how to get individual object in JavaScript? There are two ways. One, to get by ID. You see document.get element by ID, and you know that when we are designing HTML pages, we are giving ID, and the ID is a unique ID for each tag. So we can access to unique ID also, and we can access document.get element by tag name. Okay, so you see there are different tag names like A for anchor link, IMG for images, okay, P for paragraph, okay, table for table. So if you want to find out how many tables are there in this page, so you can simply do like this: document.get element by tag name table. So it will display you the number of tables in that page, the number of images in that page. Even you can get the images inside the page. Okay. If you want to know what type of tag is it, okay, what type of node is it, then you can do like this: dot node type. Okay, dot node type. So you can find out that what type of node is it. And another one, this one is very important one: dot inner HTML. Dot inner HTML, using dot inner HTML, you can access its text. Okay, the inner HTML represent its text. So in this way, you can actually add new nodes to the page. You can change properties, values, attributes of the existing page. Okay, so I will show you how. For example, if you see like this, if you do like this, then like var my heading, so this will be general variable. We studied already and how to create variable in a JavaScript. Then variable document.get element by ID, and you will provide the ID of some tag. Okay, let me show you here. Okay, for example, I think it is this one. Yeah, it is my heading. Yeah, you see here, this is one HTML page that I have created. H1 ID equal to my heading. So I give the ID my heading. So here we can do like this. You see document.get element by ID my heading. So you see this HTML JavaScript code will give us the reference of the H1. Okay, a reference of H1, and we'll store here in my heading variable. So meaning to say, using this line, we got access to H1 now. And after that, once we got the access to that, then we can apply different operations on that. For example, my heading dot set attribute. You can change its attribute. Like for example, if you can change its align, you can change its color, you can change its background. So any attribute that you want to apply. So the attribute, which attribute you want to change, and its value. You can do like this. And again, if you want to add some content, like my heading dot inner HTML equal to Java, welcome to JavaScript. Okay, so let me show you this one. This page, you see, this heading at the beginning has the text is my first heading. Okay, let's run this. I will show you. Okay, so let's focus on the my heading tag only. Okay, in this one, my heading, and this is H1. Okay, and its ID is my heading. Okay, so I have connected my custom.js to this custom.js. Already I connected to that. So let me open that. Okay, so I don't know. I think I have created here. Okay, I think I should write here. No problem. New one. Okay, so what you can give to this variable any name. For example, my heading. If you want to change from this one, H1, yeah, just heading. Okay, and this heading is this variable. What value should be assigned to this variable? It will be document. Okay, document dot get element by ID. And if you go to this, you see, if you go to my which page was that? Yeah, this hello world page. So you see, it's ID equal to this one. So ID is always unique in a page. So this is why we can easily get. So document.get element by ID. Okay, and this ID is a text value. So we will provide like this. Okay, so you see, after when this line run, it will give access to the P1 and the H1 tag, and that access, the reference will be stored here. Okay, and after that we can apply on this different operations like heading dot set attribute. Okay, set attribute is changed like this: align. Okay, so align is clear. And align and comma and align value, like let's suppose center. Okay, center, save it. So first it is at the left, and now if you see, now it became center. Actually the color is maybe text color or something, so we can try that one later. So center and maybe right. Okay, so we can change its you see, using JavaScript, we can change content of the HTML page. So now the content is, the text is my first heading. We can actually change this one also. For example, a heading dot inner HTML. Okay, inner HTML. So a heading dot inner HTML equal to, and provide the text. Save it. Yeah. See, welcome to JavaScript. And let's change this one to center. And change to something else. Welcome to programming. So this is the power of DOM, that using in document object model, we can access any object. You see, using DOM and using JavaScript, we can access different objects, different tags of HTML. Okay, and we can change the contents of that. Okay, and we can apply different properties on that. Even we can add new tag to that. For example, here, if you see all these codings in here, you see, in this body, after that I started a new tag, and I give ID main content, and all the things are here in the main content. Yeah. In the main content. So actually, if you want to access this one, you can add new text also. Anything that you want, you can add. For example, here, I think I will just uncomment this coding. Okay, if you see this one, var main content is a variable name, document.get element by ID, the main content. Okay, and then new heading. So you see, we want to add here a new heading, not this one. Okay, so new heading and document.create element. You see, create element is a new element you want to create. So what you want to create, you can specify any HTML tag like H2, P, table, form, anything that you want. Okay, so h2, and then this new heading, that inner HTML is equal to this one. Okay, and then it will be created. Okay, and then you will append that main content dot append child. So this child should be appended to what, to this main content. Okay, so if you save it and refresh the page, so you see here another h1 tag is added. Another h1 tag is added. So using the DOM, we can access different objects. Okay, and you will see in professional programming a lot of this. The document get element by ID. Okay, mostly get element by ID. This is very famous, and a lot of people are using this one. Okay, and JavaScript actually is quite useful. Let me show you one example, a real world example. I was developing one project last year. Okay, then in that project the challenge was, you see, let me show you here. You see, this is the project that I was designing for what is called Borneo Institute. Professor. So he was conducting different survey for different families. So here you see, we don't know that how many members, how many people are there in a house. So we cannot fix in advance like 5 people will be there. So some houses will have 5, some will have 6, some will have 10. Okay, so this was a big challenge, that how to create dynamic fields, like the person in the house name, its name, and then you know that its status or whatever. Okay, in Malay language. Okay, and its Umar. Okay, something. So for 2 people, then for 3 people, so it was a big challenge for me. So actually I solved this issue using JavaScript. So I created a button here, and in the click event of this is a JavaScript. Okay, so when you click this one, you see it add another field. But you see here is a little bit issue. This is a number and this one is a text. I will show you how to fix it. Okay, so click. You dynamically we are adding different fields to the form. Okay, so and once you complete that, you see, for example, how many people, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Let's suppose this house has 8 people. Then click done, and you see then this button will be automatically generated. So all these things are this automatic generation. Actually HTML cannot do this, PHP cannot do this for you, only JavaScript can do this for you, CSS cannot do. Okay, so this is the power of CSS. So you see, if you see how I have done this one, I just want to quickly show you. You see, this is the JavaScript function that I defined for that, and this is you see the append that I'm appending this new field with this. You see all the lot of crazy coding. You see, for each field I have done quite long, because there are 4 fields. Okay, and at the last, if you see here, the problem was, I realized actually today. Yeah, the last one. You see, for the UMA, you see there is a UMA, and I have put this one. The type is text, so this should be actually number. Okay, not a text. Okay, and if you look at this one, you see, oh my gosh, again save it. And if you look at this, I have given name as a array, because later on I want to access all these value in array. All the Umar, everybody Umar will be in Umar array, the name will be in name array. So I have given the name like array. You see, like this. Okay, so this one is number now. Save this one. If you refresh the page, okay, so it is like this now. If I click add, you see it is a number now. Yeah, and done. So you can do like this. So this is the power of JavaScript that the other HTML, CSS cannot do it. I hope you got some idea of this. Okay, let's go through this. Okay, we can use events also. We can use yeah, different events. This is also quite important. For example, you see this is actually an event. Okay, on click event. When I click this, you see this is a click event. Okay, click. So this is event. So how to do it? Actually, you can do it very easy. Let me show you here. The test one is okay. Yeah, here is nothing. Okay, so let me create input type equal to button. Okay, and on click, you see on click, and you see when someone click this button, something should be happen. So what should be happen? Then you can define a function, and then that function will be called. For example, let's suppose a function name is run me. Let's suppose something like this, run me, and this is a function. So when someone click this button, okay, then this function should be called. Let's save it and show. Okay, close this one. Okay, its value should be click me. Save it. Okay, let's show this one in your browser. So you see here is just a button. When I click, nothing happened. But how to add event to this? You see, I already added and click event, but it doesn't do anything because we have not defined the function. So the function is run me. Okay, copy this one, the same name, and this test.js command to this. Okay, let me define here function run me. Okay, and here you can define anything. For example, alert. Okay, alert. You click me. Click me. Semicolon. Save this one, and now you see refresh this page again. Okay, and when you click, you see the alert works. Click again, alert works. So in this way, you can add different how to say different events. Okay, to HTML tags. It may be on click, it may be on focus, it may be last focus, it may be on change. Okay, so many different are possible. For example, on load, on click, on mouse over, on blur. Okay, on focus, on change. Okay, so many things are there. So you can automatically add click events to this. If I'm typing something here and it's less than 3, it's color change, and I'm using for this JavaScript, will give me a message that it needs more text. But when the text reach more than 5 or equal to 5, it changes to green and like this. So live you can change. You see when more than 8, then it become orange and like this. Okay, so in this way you can live check user input. So what is going on in this input field? You look at this. In this input field, an input we create an event, and that event is a function which name is run me, and this run me function is here in this JavaScript. You see here what I'm doing is I'm just getting the uname, the document that my farm.uname, so this variable. After that I'm getting the message document that get element by id message. So if you look at this is just this one, you see the extra place, and here I'm typing the message for someone that if this length is less than 3, then display this message need more and change the color, and if it is 5, display this message and change the color, and so on. So this is the document object model, okay, and it works like this. Okay, so you see if you type and if it is less than 3, okay, then it will work like this. If it is more than 5, okay, then it will become like this. So you can apply the same thing on the other fields also. Oh my god, so I was trying to introduce today bootstrap also, but actually I don't think so that I can do it because the time is already over.